Imagine two souls locked in a quiet battle for the same prize, a promotion that promises a brighter future. One arrives with the dawn, their hands steady on the plow, digging into every task with a fervor that humbles you, adhering to every rule as if it were sacred. The other slips in with a gleam in their eye, sharp as a blade, knowing just the words to weave a spell over the decision-makers, never missing a chance to bask in the glow of their own spotlight. When the dust settles, who claims the victory? If you've stood witness to this dance, you've likely seen the scales tip not toward the diligent, but toward the deft. Perhaps you've watched a co-worker, all smiles and flattery, ascend while a quieter, more capable heart lingered in the wings. Or maybe you've seen elections sway, where voices dripping with corruption drowned out those who burn to mend the world. It stings, doesn't it? The ones who bend the rules seem to rise, while those who walk the straight path stumble in their shadow. But what if I whispered a secret? This isn't a flaw in the tapestry of life, but the very thread it's woven from. The game of power has never assumed merit or fairness. It crowns those who sculpt perceptions, twist narratives, and wield influence like a painter's brush. Today, we'll journey through this hidden arena, guided by the piercing minds of Nietzsche, Machiavelli, and the Stoics, to uncover why the worst often win and how you can stand tall without losing your soul. This is a tale of true freedom, a map to navigate a world that doesn't play fair. What if the world doesn't see your goodness? What if the lessons etched into us since childhood work hard, stay true, and rewards will follow are but echoes of a lullaby meant to hush our fears? Picture yourself at a crossroads, the wind carrying the laughter of those who've raced ahead while you clutch a fading belief that effort alone will lift you. It's a quiet wound, a flicker of doubt that gnaws at the edges of your days. We've all tasted it, the bitter sip of unfairness when the scales seem tipped by unseen hands. Yet within this shadow lies an ember of hope. To understand the game is not to surrender your essence, but to awaken. In this odyssey, we'll peel back the veils of justice, dive into the currents of power, and see how perception, not truth, carves the paths we tread. This isn't about shedding who you are. It's about gazing unflinkering at what is and choosing your stance. Are you ready to step into this story, to see the world through new eyes and claim the freedom that awaits? Close your eyes and conjure a scene, to figures in a bustling office, their lives entwined in the hum of ambition. One rises before the sun, their desk a shrine to diligence, every task polished with a care that speaks of quiet devotion. The other drifts in later, their presence electric, armed with a tongue that dances and a knack for catching the right gaze at the right moment. The promotion is announced, and it's the charmer who steps forward, leaving the steadfast one to watch from the sidelines. You've seen this play out, haven't you? The athlete who trains until their bones ache, yet never graces the podium. The student who pours their soul into study, only to earn less than a peer with a right handshake. From our earliest days, we've been fed a golden promise: toil with honesty, give your all, and the world will lay treasures at your feet. It's a song we sing to ourselves, a shield against the wild unknown that lurks beyond our control. But as we grow, as we step into the unfiltered light of reality, that melody falters. The hardest worker doesn't always climb. The most principled don't always lead. The earth turns, heedless of our labor. This isn't mere chance, it's a rhythm etched deep into human existence. We cling to a belief, a fragile comfort psychologist named the just world fallacy. It's the idea that virtue is repaid with bounty, that wickedness meets its due. Melvin Lerner, a mind who plumbed the depths of our psyche, saw this as our refuge. We'd read a cosmos of chaos, where no logic binds cause to consequence. So we weave a tale where goodness triumphs, where effort is a currency that never fails. It's a bond for our unease, a whisper that if we stay the course, harm will pass us by. But this safety is a phantom. When a friend loses their livelihood, we mutter they didn't strive enough. When poverty shadows a life, we nod and say their choices faltered. When pain strikes, we hunt for a reason. Surely they erred, surely they invited it, as if life were a ledger, tidy and just. This fallacy doesn't merely console, it blinds. It cloaks the uneven arraign we tread, the silent privileges some wield like unseen blades. In the workplace, decades of loyalty can dissolve before a single well-placed word. In politics, a gleaming lie outshines a stuttering truth. In love, the one who knows the art of allure holds sway over the one who loves in silence. If fairness ruled, the skilled would govern, the righteous would prosper, and effort would unlock every door. But cast your gaze around, who holds the reins of power? Too often, it's not the worthy. Effort is a spark, yes, but it flickers in the wind unless you fan it into flame. The game isn't merit's arena, it's a theater of perception, influence, and the tales we spin. Those who master this are tried the crest of the wave. Those who don't, they sink unwitting pawns in a grander scheme. This isn't a dirge of despair, but a beacon through the fog. The virtues we've been taught, humility, obedience, purity, where did they spring from? Were they born to elevate us or to tether us? Nietzsche, a philosopher who peered into the void, offered a piercing reply. He called it slave morality, a constellation of values not forged in light but in weakness. In ancient times, power was raw. Warriors and kings seized their desires, guided by what he termed master morality, courage, conquest, the will to carve their own destiny. But as the many grew stronger than the few, those without might wove a new story. Submission became a virtue. Pity became holy. Frailty became a badge of honor. Through the tendrils of religion and culture, this shift took hold. Christianity proclaimed the meek would inherit the earth, that suffering paved a road to grace. Rulers and institutions nodded in approval, for a compliant flock is easily shepherded. Picture a lion and a zebra beneath the wide sky. The lion hunts, its strength a law unto itself, untroubled by guilt. But what if the zebras gathered, their voices rising in chorus, declaring slaughter a sin, urging the lion to kneel in remorse? If the lion swallowed this tale, it would wither, and the zebras would rule the plains. Nietzsche saw this mirrored in our world. The mighty, fearing scorn, blunted their own edges, while the powerless crowned kindness as the truest good. The outcome? A society where we're taught to shrink, to accept our place without a murmur. But who reaps the harvest of this creed? Not the bold, not the dreamer. Morality, Nietzsche argued, isn't a star we follow. It's a chain forged by those who wield it. Are our ideals our own, or were they sown to bind us? If he's right, the game was never about justice. It was about dominion. Machiavelli, a shadow dweller with a quill of iron, honed this truth to a razor's edge. Power doesn't kneel to the pure, it bows to those who shape how they're seen. We yearn to believe virtue prevails, but he laughed at such naivety. Men judge by appearances, not deeds, he wrote. It's not what you do, it's what others think you've done. At work, the colleague who feigns business, who times their praise perfectly, eclipses the quiet titan bearing the load. In love, the one who exudes effortless charm draws hearts, not the steady soul in the wings. In politics, the candidate with the brightest grin and the loudest vow sways the masses, while the earnest reformer fades. Truth doesn't reign, the semblance of truth does. This isn't theory, it's the heartbeat of our lives. Corrupt leaders cling to power because they drape themselves in saviors' robes. Flawed empires thrive because they peddle a vision. The game pivots on perception, and those who mold it grasp the helm. Machiavelli didn't lament this, he charted it. What weighs more, being good or seeming mighty? For him, the scales tipped clear. A leader needn't be holy, only appear so. Fear, not affection, steadied the throne. Today, this rings true still. Strength trumps justice in the theater of human sight. Are you crafting your image, or trusting the world to spy your worth? If perception is the chessboard, mastering it is the gambit. But how do the victors keep their crowns while others falter? The secret lies not in the scrolls we're handed but in the whispers that hum beneath. These laws aren't preached in halls or penned in tomes. They're lived by those who ascend and overlooked by those who crumble. First, command your narrative. What others believe of you outshines what you achieve. Napoleon didn't merely win wars, he sculpted his legend. A man kissed by fate, he cloaked himself in symbols and oratory that wrought his grandeur. It wasn't enough to triumph, he had to be seen as invincible. Your tale isn't what others whisper about you, it's what you make them feel in their bones. Second, never bare your throat to the pack. In the wilds of power, hesitation is a wound that bleeds. Predators strike the uncertain, but this isn't about sealing every crack. It's about choosing your confessors with a sculptor's care. On social media, we share sunsets and laughter, not the tears that fall in shadow. The CEO masks their tremors behind a granite stare. The statesman stands firm as storms rage. Confidence isn't just held, it's wielded. Elon Musk doesn't bow to setbacks. He recasts them as stepping stones, a saga of unbroken will. Strength needn't always be true, but it must always appear so. Third, be a cipher, not a scroll. Predictability is a yoke. If others foresee your stride, they've already bridled you. Napoleon confounded foes with ever-shifting ploys. Today, it's guarding your hand, your aims veiled in mist. These tenets aren't about morality, they're about enduring. Shun them, and you're quarry for those who don't. Are you leading this waltz, or swaying to another's rhythm? Naivety isn't purity, it's oblivion. The trusting laborer believes their sweat will gleam on its own. The open heart pours out to deaf ears. The honest trader signs without a sidelong glance. The world doesn't echo your grace. It feeds on it. This isn't gloom, it's awakening. A fish in a glass prison swims free until the wall halts it, blind to the snare. Naivety keeps us circling, heedless of the net. To break loose, we must see the players, their moves, their masks. Goodness alone doesn't conquer, vigilance does. Would you drift in twilight or map the tides? Leadership isn't mere skill but presence. Studies unveil we trail the bold, not the wise. In interviews, the assured outshine the adept. In wolf packs, the leader strides, not the shrewdest. Minds matter, but projection reigns. You've sensed it, the air shifts when assurance steps in. It's not what you grasp, it's how you hold yourself. Falter, and you're edged out. Speak with ember, and heads turn. Intelligence without guile is a vault unopened. Thinkers fade while performers flourish. The scholar labors in dusk, the hawker reaps gold. Knowledge is might only when brandished. The world doesn't seek the keenest, it kneels to those who blaze. Are you awaiting acclaim or raising your banner? Your story is yours to etch. Let others sketch you, and you're a wraith. Shape it, and you're the torch. But this tapestry stretches further, threads of human nature weaving through time. Consider the Stoics, those quiet giants like Marcus Aurelius, who faced a world no less jagged than ours. They didn't rage against its unfairness, they sought mastery within it. You have power over your mind, not outside events, Marcus wrote, his words a lighthouse in the storm. The game may favor the cunning, but the Stoic finds freedom in what they can command, their thoughts, their will. This isn't surrender, it's a deeper victory. While Machiavelli mapped the battlefield and Nietzsche masked its players, the Stoics offered a shield resilience. The world may tilt, but you needn't fall with it. Yet resilience alone doesn't crown you. Perception still holds the scepter. Why do some glide through life's maze while others snag on every thorn? It's not luck, it's strategy. The co-worker who flatters doesn't outwork you, they outmaneuver you. The politician who wins doesn't outthink, they outshine. The lover who enchants doesn't outlove, they outglow. This isn't about talent's worth, it's about talent's voice. The Stoics knew this too. Epictetus taught that while we can't sway the crowd, we can sway ourselves. But in power's arena, swaying others is the prize. How do you bridge this? by marrying inner steel without a craft. Let's linger here, for this is where the heart of the matter beats. The just world fallacy lulls us into thinking effort is a straight road to reward, but the potholes tell another tale. Nietzsche's slave morality reveals how we've been taught to kneel, to see meekness as might. Machiavelli's lens shows that power isn't won by deeds alone, but by the eyes that behold them. And the Stoics, they remind us that while the game rages, our peace needn't break. Together, these voices form a chorus. The world is a stage, and you're both actor and playwright. But how do you play without losing yourself? How do you rise without bending to the dark? Can you dance this dance without turning to stone? Machiavelli nodded yes. Cruelty, wielded poorly, topples you. Wielded well, it steadies you. Strategy isn't venom, it's purpose. The greatest leaders blend might with mercy, resolve with warmth. Nietzsche saw power as self-overcoming, not oppression. Victory isn't trampling others, it's transcending. The world won't gift you equity. It bows to those who see its gears and turn them. You can clutch the myth of fairness or step into the fray, eyes sharp. This isn't about shedding your spirit, it's about claiming your ground. True freedom isn't awaiting the world's applause. It's knowing the game, picking your steps, and standing unbroken. Machiavelli and Nietzsche didn't just unveil power, they offered its reins. Will you grasp them? The question isn't whether fairness pays, but whether you'll play wise. Forge your tale, guard your flame, move with intent. The game hums around you. Play it awake, or drift as a piece. Your future isn't carved, it's clay. Mold it fierce. But let's pause and breathe, for this journey is vast. Imagine a river, its surface calm, yet beneath it churns with unseen currents. That's the world we navigate, deceptive in its stillness, alive with forces we rarely name. The Stoics would urge us to float, not fight, to find peace amid the rush. Yet to thrive, not just survive, demands more. It's not enough to endure, you must shape. Nietzsche's Übermensch, that vision of human potential, wasn't a tyrant but a creator, one who crafts meaning where none is given. Machiavelli's prince wasn't a brute but a chessmaster, moving pieces with a steady hand. And you? You're no mere spectator. You're the sculptor of your days. This calls for balance, a tightrope walk between being and seeming. The Stoics hone their minds, but the world's stage demands your presence. Confidence, that primal spark, sways more than skill. Studies echo this: we trail the certain, not the sage. In a room of voices, the loudest isn't the truest, but it's heard. The wolf pack follows the bold, not the brain-iest. This isn't to diminish wisdom, it's to wield it. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire not by force alone, but by the aura he cast, steady and shaken a rock in the tide. You needn't roar, you must simply stand. Yet standing tall isn't pretense. It's choice. The co-worker who rises doesn't fake their worth, they frame it. The leader who wins doesn't lie, they light the path others crave. Perception isn't deceit, it's direction. Nietzsche urged us to question who penned the virtues we chase. If humility and meekness were tools of control, then boldness and will are tools of freedom. Machiavelli taught us to steer, let others see what you choose, not what they assume. The Stoics grounded us, let the world spin, but hold your center. Together, they forge a path not to conquer, but to command your life. This path stretches long, for power's game is no fleeting skirmish. It's a marathon of moments, each a chance to tilt the mirror. The worker who flatters knows the boss's ear. The lover who enchants knows the heart's rhythm. The ruler who reigns knows the crowd's pulse. But you know more. You see the strings, the players, the masks. And with that sight comes power, not to crush, but to craft. The Stoics would say, control what you can, release what you can't. Nietzsche would add, create what you will. Machiavelli would smile, show what you must. This is no cold calculus, it's a living art. Let's wander deeper, For the well of this truth is bottomless. Why do some glide while others grind? It's not fate's whim, it's human nature's pull. We're drawn to the flame, not the ember. The colleague who shines doesn't outwork, they outwit. The politician who sways doesn't outplan, they outplay. The friend who holds court doesn't outshine, they outframe. This isn't about who you are, it's about who you seem. Yet seeming isn't lying, it's leading. The Stoics knew their worth but didn't shout it. Nietzsche forged his vision but didn't force it. Machiavelli shaped his image but didn't break it. You can too. This weaves through every thread of life. At work, the quiet genius toils, but the loud novice rises. In love, the steady heart waits, but the bold spirit wins. In crowds, the hesitant fade, but the certain draw eyes. It's not that merit dies, it's that merit whispers while perception sings. The Stoics would nod, master yourself first. Nietzsche would push, master your meaning. Machiavelli would grin, master your mask. Together, they light a way not to mimic the ruthless, but to mirror the wise. You needn't bend, you must only see. And seeing is the spark. The just world fallacy blinds us with hope, but hope without sight is a cage. Nietzsche's slave morality chains us with guilt, but guilt without question is a weight. Machiavelli's perception frees us with strategy, but strategy without soul is a shell. The Stoics balance us with calm, but calm without action is adrift. This is no simple recipe, it's a symphony. You play it not to win over others, but to win yourself. The world won't bow to your goodness, it bows to your grip. Seize it, not with force, but with fire. But fire tempers, doesn't consume. Can you wield this without scorching your core? Yes, for strategy isn't in its skill. The leader who lasts doesn't lash, they lift. The lover who endures doesn't trick, they touch. The worker who climbs doesn't cheat, they charm. Nietzsche's power was creation, not cruelty. Machiavelli's might was mind, not malice. The Stoics' strength was stillness, not surrender. You can rise without falling, rise by knowing, not kneeling. The game isn't fair, but it's yours to play. This unfolds across lifetimes, not minutes. The colleague who flatters today may falter tomorrow if their mask slips. The ruler who dazzles now may dim if their tale frays. The lover who enchants might fade if their light dims. Power? And you're its author. The Stoics would steady your pen, let not the world shake you. Nietzsche would sharpen it, let not the weak define you. Machiavelli would guide it, let not the blind judge you. Together, they craft not a crown, but a compass. That compass points inward, then out. The world spins, a chaos of wants and wills. You can't halt it, but you can helm your course. The just world fallacy promises reward, reality offers chance. Nietzsche's morality unmasks control, your choice unmasks freedom. Machiavelli's perception builds power, your vision builds purpose. The Stoics' calm anchors you, your fire propels you. This isn't about beating the game, it's about being its player. Not a pawn, not a prince, but a presence. And presence is the pulse. The worker who rises stands tall, not loud. The lover who wins glows warm, not wild. The leader who reigns holds firm, not fierce. It's not noise, it's weight. The Stoics carried it in silence. Nietzsche forged it in thought. Machiavelli shaped it in sight. You wield it in will. The world doesn't gift you place, it yields to your step. Take it, not with greed. This grace stretches wide, a horizon of choice. The colleague who flatters plays a note, you play a chord. The ruler who sways strikes a pose, you strike a path. The lover who enchants casts a spell, you cast a vision. The game isn't theirs, it's yours. Nietzsche would cheer, be more. Machiavelli would nod, see more. The Stoics would whisper, no more. Together, they don't just teach, they transform. You're not here to follow, you're here to forge. And forging takes time, a slow burn of days. The worker who shines today honed their gleam yesterday. The leader who stands now built their base then. The lover who holds now sowed their seed before. Power isn't instant, it's intent. The Stoics waited, not weak. Nietzsche wrestled, not rash. Machiavelli watched, not rushed. You too can craft, not chase. The world won't rush to you, you rush to it, steady and sure. That steadiness is your sword. The just world fallacy cuts with false hope, you parry with clear sight. Nietzsche's morality stabs with old chains, you block with new will. Machiavelli's perception thrusts with sharp truth, you dance with sharper choice. The Stoics calm guards with still strength, you strike with live fire. This isn't a fight against, it's a fight for. Not them, but you. And you are the stake. The colleague who rises doesn't steal your place, they show your move. The ruler who reigns doesn't take your crown, they test your craft. The lover who wins doesn't dim your light, they spark your flame. The game isn't theirs to win, it's yours to play. Nietzsche's Übermensch isn't a foe, it's a call. Machiavelli's prince isn't a threat, it's a mirror. The Stoic sage isn't a ghost, it's a guide. You're not here to lose, you're here to live. That life unfolds vast, a canvas of chance. The worker who falters didn't fail, they forgot. The leader who falls didn't lose, they leaned. The lover who fades didn't dim, they drifted. Power isn't theirs to keep, it's yours to claim. The Stoics held it in mind. Nietzsche shaped it in soul. Machiavelli cast it in eye. You wield it in hand. The world doesn't owe you, it offers you. Take it, not with theft but with truth. This truth is your torch. The just world fallacy blinds with soft lies, you see with hard light. Nietzsche's morality binds with old tales, you free with new songs. Machiavelli's perception tricks with quick masks, you build with deep roots. The Stoics' calm rests with still waters, you flow with fierce tides. This isn't a game to win, it's a life to lead. Not over, but through. And through is the way. The colleague who climbs doesn't block your path, they mark it. The ruler who rules doesn't bar your gate, they open it. The lover who loves doesn't steal your heart, they wake it. The game isn't theirs to rule, it's yours to roam. Nietzsche's will isn't a whip, it's a wing. Machiavelli's sight isn't a snare, it's a scope. The Stoic's peace isn't a pause, it's a pulse. You're not here to wait, you're here to walk. That walk is your own, the trail of days. The worker who shines didn't cheat, they chose. The leader who leads didn't force, they found. The lover who holds didn't grab, they grew. Power isn't theirs to hoard, it's yours to hold. The Stoics stood, not still. Nietzsche strove, not stray. Machiavelli saw, not sly. You step, not stumble. The world doesn't give, it bends. Bend it, not with might. This mind is your map. The just world fallacy draws false lines, you trace true ones. Nietzsche's morality pens old bounds, you sketch new skies. Machiavelli's perception paints quick strokes, you carve deep marks. The Stoics' con charts still stars, you steer live winds. This isn't a race to run, it's a world to weave. Not theirs but yours. And yours is the call. The colleague who rises doesn't push you down, they pull you up. The ruler who reigns doesn't shut you out, they show you in. The lover who wins doesn't leave you cold, they light you warm. The game isn't theirs to end, it's yours to begin. Nietzsche's fire isn't to burn, it's to blaze. Machiavelli's craft isn't to cut, it's to create. The Stoics' strength isn't to stay, it's to start. You're not here to watch, you're here to work. That work is your worth. The worker who climbs didn't take your place, they taught your pace. The leader who leads didn't steal your role, they set your goal. The lover who loves didn't dim your day, they lit your way. Power isn't theirs to own, it's yours to earn. The Stoics knew, not knelt. Nietzsche built, not broke. Machiavelli shaped, not shook. You rise, not rue. The world doesn't wait, it wills. Will it? Not with want, but with wake. Here at True Freedom, we've wandered the wilds of power, from the just world's gentle deceit to the unseen laws that lift the cunning. Perception often outruns merit, but this isn't a shackle, it's a key. You hold the quill to your tail, the mic to mold how you're beheld. This is your liberty, not to twist the world, but to stand unbroken within it. If this stirred you, tap that like, share it with a kindred spirit, and let your voice ripple below. How do you see this game? Subscribe to join us again, toss out your ideas for what's next, and let's keep this flame alive. Until we meet anew, keep questioning, keep climbing.